everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you a low carb breakfast, and this has been trending all over the internet. It is a pancake scramble. So instead of making a regular pancake and then just having it with eggs or something like that, I've seen people make the pancakes, scramble it up, and then put some like breakfast sausage there and eggs. And so I'm going to show you guys how to do that today, and I'm going to show you the low carb and super nutritious version of this viral recipe. Let's just jump right in. First thing we're gonna do is we are gonna make our pancake batter, and I'm also gonna show you guys how to make your own breakfast sausage at home. Because if you go to the store and you buy something that's prepackaged, it often has a lot of preservatives and other stuff and other junk that you just don't want. And so I'm gonna show you guys the really easy way to make it at home. It's really simple ingredients. First things first is with our pancake batter. So this is going to be a low carb pancake batter, and it's actually gonna be good for you. It's actually healthy. We're gonna be using almond flour for this. And of course, as you guys know, all of my ingredients, all of my measurements are in the description below, so head down there to see exactly how much and what I'm using. So almond flour, and this is blanched almond flour. I'm also going to add some salt, baking powder. The baking powder just really helps the pancake kind of like stay together and cook correctly when you throw it on the pan. This is some Monkfruit Sweetener. Now you can use any sweetener of choice. You can use erythritol or whatever your favorite sweetener is. I just prefer monk fruit. I've said this before in my previous videos that I think monk fruit tastes closest to real sugar and it cooks more like real sugar, which is why it's my preferred choice. So I'm gonna add some monk fruit in there, and I'm just gonna whisk this all together. I don't like to buy those, I'm sure you guys have seen in the stores, they have like a low carb or a keto friendly or paleo friendly pancake mix. I don't like to use those because oftentimes they're not really low in net carb. If you look at the back of the packaging, oftentimes it ends up being like maybe a pancake this size is like 1 net carb or 2 net carbs, but most of the time it ends up being like 6 to 8 net carbs. And if you're someone who's really on a low carb diet, those are not a preferred choice for you. This is going to be 2.5 net carbs per serving. So every serving is 2 pancakes. This is going to be the preferred choice if you're trying to stay low carb. Now that this is all whisked together, I'm gonna add in some vanilla extract. You can also use maple extract. It tastes really good with this. I'm gonna add in some avocado oil. You can use, again, your preferred oil of choice. I really think that avocado oil is the healthiest of the oils, so that's the one I'm gonna use. You could use vegetable or canola, but not a huge fan of that. I've said that before in my other videos as well. I'm also gonna add in some almond milk. You can use any kind of milk as well that you prefer. So if you like cashew milk or oat milk, you can go ahead and use that. But I really like to use almond milk for this particular pancake recipe. And you would just use the same, measurement, just whichever milk you end up using. You could also use regular, just regular milk, that's fine as well. Now I've mixed all of that together. And finally, I'm gonna add in 2 eggs. I'm just gonna crack that right in there. And mix all of this together. And that is it, a really simple pancake recipe. Of course, like I said, the measurements are gonna be down below, and you can just increase the amount depending on how much you're gonna be making and for how many people you're gonna be making it for. This is a really great recipe if you wanna meal prep, because you can just make a bunch of this and then you have a delicious breakfast, or you could honestly eat this as a lunch too. or, you know, breakfast for dinner, whatever you want to do. But this is a really great meal prep that you can make, and it'll last for a good couple of days, and it'll be just as good as the first day. All right, so our pancake batter is all mixed. I'm gonna set this aside so we can work on the breakfast sausage. Now, breakfast sausage is really, really easy to make. It is just sweetened, basically ground pork. You could also use ground beef. You could mix the two together. I really like pork sausage, and so all you need to do, instead of using regular brown sugar, which you would to sweeten pork sausage, to sweeten the breakfast pork sausage, I'm going to be using a brown sugar stevia alternative. I've linked it down below in my Amazon links if you're interested in purchasing the one that I use. So I'm gonna be using 1 tablespoon of the stevia brown sugar. This adds absolutely no carbs. I'm also gonna be adding about half a teaspoon of smoked paprika and then a pinch of cayenne. You guys know I like it a little bit spicy, and I think when breakfast sausage has a tiny bit of a kick, it tastes really good. And so I'm gonna be adding that. And this is about 1.2 pounds of ground pork. So again, if you're gonna be using more, if you're gonna be making more breakfast sausage, then just increase the quantity of the spices that you're using. But I would say for about 1 pound of ground pork-ish, you can use 1 tablespoon of the brown sugar or the brown sugar alternative to sweeten the pork. You could also use, I've seen people use honey. I haven't tried that myself, but you could use about half a tablespoon of honey. That would also be a good sweetener. But I think it needs to be something that's like either a molassesy type sugar, like the brown sugar alternative, or honey, something that has a little bit more flavor and not just sweetness like a regular granulated sweetener would have. You wanna have that like smokiness and the molassesy taste. I think it really makes a breakfast sausage a breakfast sausage. And I'm just mixing all this together. Now, for this particular recipe, for this pancake breakfast scramble, I'm not gonna be making these into patties. If you wanted to just have this as a breakfast sausage on the side, you could form them into patties and cook them like that, but we're just gonna be cooking this all, you know, like a ground pork style. We're not going to be making this into patties because it's a scramble. It's gonna go into the scrambled pancake and the scrambled eggs that we're gonna be making. So no need to actually form this into patties. All right, that is all mixed and we can start cooking our pancakes. We can start cooking our pancakes, and this is gonna be the easiest pancake that you're gonna cook because you don't have to worry about it being even on all sides. We're gonna make it scrambled. So what you're gonna wanna do is take a non-stick pan. I prefer to use a non-stick because I just think it's cleaner, and I think there's less of a mess when you're making the pancake, and it also makes it a lot easier to flip. And I'm just heating it on like medium-low heat. I'm gonna use my favorite avocado oil spray by Chosen Food. I'm not sponsored, but I think that they have the cleanest avocado oil spray. And I am just going to do a light spray of this on the pan. It's non-stick, so you don't have to worry about it, but I just like a little bit of the spray on there just in case it ends up sticking to the pan. And now what we're gonna do is we are going to take a ladle and we're going to throw it onto the pan. Throw our batter right on there. And we're gonna start cooking it like it's a regular pancake. And then I'll show you guys how to make this scrambled. So you start with it being like a regular pancake. It doesn't have to be perfect. And let those start cooking on one side. These are not ready to flip yet, but you can see that it's starting to cook well on one of the sides because I see bubbles coming through, and that's a good sign. You don't want to flip it too early. You don't want to cook it down too early, but when you start to see those bubbles, it means you're getting close to it being fully cooked on one side. I can see that it is started to be fully cooked on one of the sides. It is completely moving. It is not stuck to the pan at all. And so what we're gonna do is lift it up like this. And we're gonna flip it. If you wanted to leave a pancake like this, you could leave it. It's a perfect pancake. But like I said, we're gonna do a scrambled pancake. So flipping this other one. Perfect pancake. Oh my God, it smells so good. I love pancakes. And this is like one of my favorite go-to recipes to make the pancakes. And as you saw, they're so low carb and they're nutritious because it has the almond flour in it and just eggs. Really simple and clean ingredients. And now that we're starting to cook the pancake on the other side, all you have to do is just start breaking it up. And I know we're breaking up the perfect pancake and it's really upsetting maybe to you, but I think it's gonna be really delicious. Because how can it be bad? I mean, it's a pancake scramble. You can't really go wrong with this. Just breaking this up, getting it to quickly cook on the inside. And I do feel bad a little bit destroying a perfect pancake, but when it's gonna be combined with a delicious breakfast sausage and eggs, I think it'll make up for it. We are just gonna quickly cook this like that because it is almost fully cooked on the inside of the pancake. All right, and I can see that my batter is now fully cooked. I'm gonna throw this into a bowl and cook the rest of the pancakes. Our pancakes are fully cooked, so I'm just gonna set these aside because we're gonna cook our breakfast sausage now. I'm gonna put in some avocado oil spray. I'm just using the same pan. I just wiped it down so that there's no residual like pancake in there. And I'm gonna take my pork breakfast sausage that we made earlier, and we are just going to throw this into this pan. And you want to start breaking up all of this ground meat. All we're doing is just cooking down our breakfast sausage to make sure that it is fully cooked. It already smells so fragrant and delicious. That brown sugar that we added is going to caramelize inside the ground meat and add that nice touch of sweetness that we're looking for in a breakfast sausage. I'm gonna add in some salt and just mix that all around. Now the pork is fully cooked, but what I like to do is the fat has rendered from the pork itself, and I like to leave it in a little bit longer because then the meat crisps up a little bit and has a nice little crisp on the outside. So I'm gonna leave it in a little longer. If you wanted it at this stage, you could take it out and not leave it in longer, but I'm just gonna do what I prefer when I make breakfast sausage. As you can see, it's already starting to crisp a little bit on the outside, so just leave it in as long as you want. But I like to add a little bit of a crisp. As you can see, the pork is starting to develop that nice crisp. I raised the temperature a little bit, so it's now on medium heat, and essentially I'm cooking it until most of the fat is gone, and that's how you get that nice crispy outside. It just adds a really good texture and a lot of flavor to the pork itself instead of just regular ground pork. You could do actually the same thing with ground beef. If you leave it in a little longer until almost all the fat is gone, it gives it a nice crisp on the outside. I'm gonna set this aside so that we can work on the last step, which is making our scrambled eggs. Now to keep it simple and clean, we're just gonna be using the same pan that we've been using this whole time. I did wipe it down a bit to take out the residual fat that was in the pan, but I left a little bit to get that nice flavor into the scrambled eggs. And I just beat some eggs here, gonna pour this into the pan. This is so straightforward. Just gonna scramble these eggs really quick. Add some salt, some black pepper, and then just quickly mix these up. They don't even need long. It is on really low heat. That is literally it. Turn off the heat and you have scrambled eggs. All this residual heat is gonna finish cooking these eggs. Now, I don't like my eggs overcooked, so that's why I turn it off really early so that that residual heat just cooks the remainder of the egg. But if you like it, like what I think is a little bit overcooked, then you can just keep it on a little bit longer. Now we can start assembling our pancake scramble. For our last step in this, what I think is gonna be a delicious pancake scramble, I just have my scrambled eggs here, and I'm gonna throw in all of our ingredients. Now I'm gonna throw in the breakfast sausage that we made. Honestly, as much as you want. I'm gonna throw in our delicious scrambled pancakes. I love this trend. When I saw this, I was like, I mean, how could this be bad? It's breakfast food, all in an easy bowl. Just throw it all together. We're gonna mix this all together. And now for the last and most important step, what kind of pancake breakfast would it be without breakfast syrup? I'm gonna be using this sugar-free one. Just gonna pour on just like that. Oh, my mouth is watering. I am so excited. I mean, literally guys, how could this be bad? It is the perfect breakfast bite with our delicious pancakes, our homemade breakfast sausage. Cheers. Y'all, this is probably one of the greatest trends I think that has gone out. I mean, you get a scramble, the perfect bite. Our low carb almond flour pancakes are high in protein, they're low in carb. This whole breakfast is low in net carb. It'll keep you satiated, keep you on track on your macros. I mean, and you can just meal prep this and enjoy it, and the whole family will enjoy it. There is absolutely nothing more perfect than a homemade breakfast sausage, homemade pancakes, scrambled eggs, a little bit of that syrup. This Tuesday trend gets a thumbs up from me. Absolutely amazing, so simple, so delicious, low carb and high in protein. Thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. Also hit that notification bell to never miss a tasty upload. Till next time.